Our unboxing journey begins tonight with a viewer that needed a guitar out of Japan. So I hit up my friend, like I normally do, who helps me get them, and I didn't hear from him. And I knew he was just in the hospital for an injury, and after so much time went by, I was really fearing for the worst. To the point where after 3 weeks, I was going to write a letter to his address just to see if anybody was still there. So I actually had to reach out to a different viewer of the show that all the way back in 2020 said, hey, if you ever need help getting a guitar from Japan, feel free to reach out. And thankfully, he was still in Japan and could help us out. So thank you so much, Mr. Philosopher. You really helped us out. But I do actually have a happy tale at the end of the story. My regular guy, he did not die. Everything is good. Apparently, though, it was a close call. He was back in the hospital, and in about a week and a half after we had ordered this, he finally sent a message saying, nope, still here, still kicking, but I need to listen to the doctors this time and take it slow. I couldn't tell you how happy I was to actually hear from him. You know, guitars and everything aside, I view him as a personal friend at this point. We've been doing this whole Japan stuff for nearly 4 or 5 years now, and I just have a lot of fun doing it. So rest up well, my friend. But what we're seeing here is another one of those 12-string Telecasters. This is our 3rd one now that we've had on the show. So nothing too incredibly new. We've already reviewed and documented this model, but it's always cool to see the different wood grains that you can get because the ash body always just looks different on every example. This one has a really well-matched 2 pieces over here. This one's a bit darker. It's not always that apparent as it looks in this lighting, though. But I just wanted to share the tale that Mr. Wood is all good. Now check out the ringiness on the back. Now unfortunately, during my detailed inspection, I found some neck pocket cracks on the side. They look completely in the finish, that's pretty common to find on a Fender. But I noticed the bottom strap button was like completely loose, and I thought, oh, that's strange. So upon closer inspection, it actually appears this guitar got dropped in transit, and it sank the strap button into the body just a little bit, pretty much just impressing straight through the finish. So I reached out to him to see if he was okay with that, if I could help him out with a little bit of a partial refund, or does he want me to order a new one? And he chose to have a new one. So if you don't mind these blemishes, you can find it for sale on my website and not have to wait a month for it to ship into Japan. But while we wait for this new one, let's have a word from tonight's sponsor, Sweetwater. Sweetwater is a great place to buy all your new gear, and that's from electric guitars to pianos, orchestral instruments. My favorite thing is the fact that you can pick out the instrument that you want, from your weight down to the serial number to the kind of top. When I'm looking for something special, I always go to Sweetwater, and they're going to hook you up with a sales engineer that's going to not only help you with this sale, but many of other sales down the road as well. I think I've been with mine for nearly 15 years now. So thank you, Sweetwater, for being a long-term sponsor of my show. Now let's get back to these Fender Japan guitars. This time we used a whole lot more bubble wrap to make sure it came in safely, and we removed the bottom strap pin. But whoa, this thing felt so weird taking it out of the gig bag because it was upside down. Don't normally have the cutaway over here. But anyways, let's go ahead and see what we're working with here. Did we win the wood grain lottery? Whoa. Yeah, I like it anyway. You got a lot of mineral streaks going on here. Kind of reminds me of a chopping board of some sort. But you've got lots of streakage, and it's super uniform across the entire thing. I do enjoy this one. But let's see, did removing the bottom strap button help? Yep, nothing there. We don't have the crazy uncommon neck break on a Fender. As far as the neck pocket cracks, I would say this one survived the trip pretty nicely, but whoa, look at the wood grain on the back too. It's got a lot of ringiness and unique patterns, I guess you could say. It's way different from the top that has a little bit more straight grain to it, but a whole lot of mineral streakages. So thank you so much, Philosopher, for stepping in while Mr. Wood is away. You've helped make a viewer's day.
I've got a couple of them to pack up tonight too, so I kind of overspent, so I had to list some of the stuff from my personal collection. You never know when the special guitars are going to show up, and it's always at the worst time possible. But this is why it doesn't hurt to let me know if you're interested in a guitar in my collection, because sometimes when that situation happens, I might reach out. So this is that really cool Trent Reznor unofficial signature guitar that we had reviewed about a year or so ago. And a very loyal viewer of the show, the same guy who gave me this cool trophy, let me know to tell him when it's time to sell. And yeah, unfortunately I had to do that. I wouldn't say this was my favorite guitar out of my collection, so I'm kind of glad that it's going to him because I know he'll appreciate it. But it's time to get this one off to Australia. in its Dave Grohl case, which I'm really hoping is not bad luck because almost every single Dave Grohl Epiphone that's shipped ended up getting damaged, but I really don't think it's the case. I mean, the case, yeah, it could fit better that way, but once I secure that, the only way a case would break something is if it has a wedge up here and it's jamming against the headstock in a bad way, or it's not properly resting down in both locations. And from what I feel, I don't think it's the case's problem. I suppose here's the true test. This one actually hurts a little bit to say goodbye to. The bearded lady. I love this guitar so much. And at the end of the day, that strap button in the back of its heel kind of annoyed me, but it's such a cool guitar. I hope to find another bearded lady one day, but this is actually going to a viewer of the show who's bought a few things from me, so I know it's going to a good home. But that is a really cool 20th anniversary Les Paul custom. I'll miss this one, but I'm super glad I at least got to document the phenomenon. This one has a really fun tale. So this is some strange, crazy looking blue R9, right? The story behind this is it was one of Gibson's first anime signature guitars. For I believe it's called Argo Novice. Apparently it's not the best show, it doesn't have tons of fans, but the fact that it got a signature line from not only the custom shop, but Epiphone and Gibson USA was pretty cool. But this was a Japan exclusive, and they only made 25 of the R9s. So I imported this one in order to document a cool thing, because we were doing a lot of the Fender signature guitars for like Asuka and a few others. But I ended up selling this guitar to somebody in California, and then like 3 or 4 years later, after they heavily gigged this thing, I mean, this has been clean since, but it's got lots of light impressions in the tops, some nicks and dings, and some discolorations to the finish from sweat/lotion, etc. But it's gone full circle here. She's going back to Japan for somebody who was very elated to see this on Reverb. They had to sign up to buy it. Our next one to say goodbye to is actually a consignment piece that came in handy so many times. This has been featured in many different episodes where we talk about the different construction styles of the Midtown versus the regular semi-hollows. These are essentially chambered Les Pauls, just in the shape of a 335. They're kind of cool. They're part of Gibson's history. Not everybody loves and appreciates them, but this was a rare color variation. You can check out the full review and documentation to learn more. I think, if I remember correctly, it was like one of 3 that initially shipped to Canada in this finish. But this sold at a great time because he was just about to visit me to pick up that Spotlight, and he was going to owe a little bit additional, but now I'm going to owe him some. So it all works out in the end. We're also saying goodbye to this cool one. We haven't seen this on the show in a while. It's the Tony Iommi Gibson USA Signature SG. It had his cool signature pickups and the cross inlays. This was about a year and a half ago. This was in my lazy era where I just put things on my website, didn't bother putting them on Reverb. That was mainly because I wasn't like super desperate to sell this thing or anything. I knew the buyer would eventually find it on my site, but he had messaged me and he's like, hey, I like the guitar, but I don't like the price. It's like, well, I decided to look at the current market because it has sat for a while. And I saw that there were some better priced ones, but they were missing the original case. It's like, come on, the whole reason why you want this model is for the pickups, the inlays, and the really cool case, because it also has the case shroud that has the matching stuff. So I just ended up matching the higher priced one that was missing the case but was in similar condition. Hopefully we can document the custom shop version one day. And now we're packing up my last Gibson Charlie Star Les Paul Jr. I just always appreciated the wood grain on this one. It reminded me a lot of rosewood. We had unboxed it on the show. This is not the review piece, but this one found a home over on Reverb. It'll probably be the last one of this model I get because they're starting to get scarce. Like even on the used market, there's like hardly any of these for sale anymore, and shops are not getting any more of them. Next up was an active viewer special. I gave a blowout price. Like we even beat the demo shop on this one for the 3 pickup Black Beauty Supreme SG. We reviewed this one about a year ago, so you can check that review out to hear the tones, but this went to somebody who purchased one of the red flame top ones because they just thought it was a little bit more beautiful, but at the price I offered it, he said, couldn't resist, have to pick up the matching one. So I hope you enjoy this, Robert, as it's now on its way to you to Lincoln, Nebraska. Our next guitar is heading down to Georgia. It's the Putrid Pro. This is such a cool guitar. I'm glad I picked it up to document. I just love these unique stage 4s. This one has just such an interesting history to it. heavily played, but refretted, plecked, all the good stuff. It's got the wear and tear, but yet it still has the playability, which usually I don't have when I document a Stage 4 because I pick them up when they're raw, so to speak. But this one was already pre-cleaned and everything, especially with that crazy fingernail divoting. But I hope you enjoy this one, James.
And I hope you enjoyed this episode of Tying Up Some Loose Ends. Otherwise, I'll catch you guys tomorrow for a completely normal episode. Take care.